I have to genuinely censor myself a little bit in how I'm about to approach this video, because this is probably one of the most disgusting smear campaigns I have ever seen an individual platformed by the flagship radio station of one of the most powerful franchises in all of sports. This is reprehensible. This is disgusting. This is racist. This is a lot of things and a lot of words that you could probably apply your own logic to that would lead you to feel however you want to feel. What we're about to talk about is nothing fancy. I'm not going to do a lot of fancy editing on this video or anything. I want to sit here and have a conversation about how it is time to truly cleanse this organization of the parasites that have been feeding and feasting on the festering flesh of this organization and of this fan base for far too long. For far too long, this fan base, one of the biggest and most powerful fan bases in sports, this fan base has allowed some of the slimiest of the slimes, some of the slickest of the slicks, the Skip Baylesses, all of the worst dirt sheet style reporters that you can think of, including one Mike Bassick, that is currently working for the so-called flagship station, or is it the flagship station? I have no clue, but Jerry Jones comes on and interviews with them all the time. A station that hosts Jerry Jones at the very minimum. A station that hosts tons of Cowboy players at the very minimum. And this is the first time in my life I have ever seen a plaintiff going out and pursuing legal proceedings. His team is the one that brought this to public eye. His team is the one that placed this lawsuit. His team is the reason why we know about this whole alleged sexual assault situation with Dak Prescott and some young lady that conveniently waits 7 years after he's had a chance to accrue some funds, after he's had a chance to move on with his life, after he hasn't had a chance to just live his life being the excellent man that we have all seen him to be over this whole time, building an immaculate reputation under one of the brightest and most focused of microscopes with the Dallas Cowboys and playing quarterback. Building an immaculate reputation rivaling that of a LeBron James, someone who has been covered by the media since the time he was a child, and no one could find anything negative about this man to really talk about that has any real legs to it. And the same can be said about Dak Prescott. The most you can find is him being accused of a DUI around draft time in 2016 and getting called not guilty for that. That's the most you can find. I did my research. I'm not about to sit here like a damn fool and build a brand, build a whole platform behind someone without doing my research, which is something that every independent, platformed, major publication, any kind of journalist should be doing. They should be doing the legwork. They should be doing the research, which it is very simple to do with the plethora of tools available free on the internet now. To the point to where we as fans can be more knowledgeable and informed about situations like this, to know that it doesn't deserve a platform on 105.3 The Fan, hosted by Mike Bassick, someone that over the course of this last year has wished Dak Prescott to get hurt, which I made a video about on my channel, wished him to get hurt so that Trey Lance could play, has always been very, very negative and tilted negative towards Dak Prescott, and has a much deeper and darker past than anything we can find about Dak Prescott by a simple Google search. Let's take a look at this mess of a situation And at this point, we do not need traditional sports talk radio. We do not. Why? We have YouTube. We have cell phone devices. There's tons of amazing Cowboys content creators. No, I don't agree with all of their opinions. But that's the beauty of our community, is that there are people with differing opinions that can articulate those opinions in an intelligent way using factual evidence and reasoning and film and talking football with you and not feeding into this nonsensical TMZ nonsense. And if any of my content creator friends out there fed into this and have taken the route that these people have taken, then shame on you as well. But we don't need sports radio. You have plenty of creators you can go out there and support and listen to. There's so many Cowboys creators that you can get your daily fix for hours on. Right? But let's take a look at this. And they're getting dragged, rightfully so. The attorney representing the defendant in a case in which Dak Prescott, the star quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, is suing. He's suing. He's the plaintiff. He brought this legal situation to public eye. He's suing someone for attempting to extort him from a 2017 meeting. He's suing this person for extortion. This is not a sexual assault lawsuit. This is not him being charged with anything. This is not a situation in which you would want to hear from the plaintiff, because he's the plaintiff. And his lawyer was smart enough to say no. Because common sense tells you in any legal situation, a quick Google search will tell you this. A legal advisor will tell you this. Once you are in an open case, hell, your cousin that's been to jail way too many times can tell you this. When you are in an open case, you do not talk about it with anybody. You do not give any details. You do not go and do media press runs. Because it is foolish. It's not that it's illegal, it is foolish. And it's something that you don't do. But it is something that a lawyer that is 1 year removed from passing his bar and actually becoming a lawyer would do. If this person that was accusing Dak Prescott of this, or trying to defend herself by saying this happened, if this was a situation, why wait 7 years later for one? And two, how is it that you get a lawyer that just passed the bar a year ago? Wouldn't you have had a lawyer on retainer already? Wouldn't you have been working on this already? Wouldn't you have had someone or approached any lawyer about this situation? And common sense tells you if they did, guess what happened? The lawyer didn't want to take the case. But a guy that's brand new, and we're about to show you this in a second, would, right? So this guy, someone who just graduated law school a year ago, again, the legwork has already been done by fans. It's sad that someone that's platformed by one of the biggest radio stations in the entire state really can't do this simple legwork. Yoel Zehe passed the bar last year and graduated from one of the objectively worst law schools in the country. Second year practicing law. And he's found someone to sue Dak Prescott for $100 million right before he's due a mega contract extension. Interesting context to add to the situation, ain't it? And essentially the gist of this is, I'm assuming this guy and whoever he's representing decided it would be a smart idea to try to send Dak Prescott and his lawyer some type of letter saying that, hey, we're going to charge you or try to charge you with SA, sexual assault, unless you pay us $100 million. Dak and his lawyer immediately were like, extortion. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And they went public with it. So what does common sense tell you, bro? Put your biases aside. Be a human being for a second. You can want Dak off your team without hoping that this type of stuff happens to anybody. This is disgusting, bro. So Mike Bassick brings this person on. Disgusting individual Mike Bassick brings this person on. And everyone is absolutely letting them have it. Everyone is if you want to see a dragging, go to the comments of this post. It's on my page. Go to the comments of this post if you want to see a dragging. If you want to see someone get exposed, a hateful individual get exposed, Mike Bassick, the same guy again who wished harm on this man, during the seasons just so we can see Trey Lance play. The same guy who has wished negative things on Dak Prescott every opportunity he has gotten. And he brings a defendant in an extortion case on to platform them on the largest radio station in the DFW. That is going to get picked up by ESPN. It's going to get picked up by all these places. If I was Dak Prescott and his family, I would sue the radio station as well. Because you're helping perpetuate and platform the defendant in my case to sway public opinion. Because there's going to be people that believe just because the defendant was platformed. And trust me, I know because I've been blocking them all day. There's going to be people that actually use this to tarnish this man's name. But interesting that this is the same person that has an issue with brown people because he was fired from a previous job at a pretty big name radio station as well in the DFW, The Ticket. He was fired at his previous job for tweeting out, "Congrats to all the dirty Mexicans in San Antonio." Seems like this guy has a problem with brown people to me. Got fired from that job. This is the same guy that's had run-ins with the law that you can actually find and look up on the Dallas Morning News. Because he can't contain his anger. Because he's not a man of discipline. Got into an argument with a coach at a baseball game. Kids baseball game. At that. Tried to hit a coach at a kids baseball game. Why? The same man has discussed having to go to therapy live on air because he makes the people around him miserable. Because he's a miserable person who goes out and does stuff like this and platform defendants in an extortion case with the intention to cast doubt. That's it, just to cast a little bit of doubt. And I'm going to put a big fat allegedly behind everything I just said for the last 10 minutes. So good try. But a lot of this stuff for public consumption, you can find it. This is sad. This is disgusting. This is going way too far. You don't need traditional radio. You don't need these major networks that's going to make you have to exist in a place of negativity and feed you this sensationalized, agenda-driven drivel. You don't need it. Find your favorite platform. And on that platform, you will find somebody that can articulate the information in a way that appeals to your senses. I promise you. Turn it off. Leave it off. As hard as you're trying to make Dak Prescott lose his job, Mike Bassick, is as hard as I'm going to try to make you lose yours by presenting facts and sound reasoning as to why you don't deserve to be able to have the platform you have, to slap every player that has come on that platform in the face, and to do this, to platform this type of dialogue about a dude that has been nothing short of sensational and immaculate character-wise since he has been on the grandest stage in all of professional sports playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Walter Payton Man of the Year, man of the community. All the positive things, all the positive he's put out into this world. And for some reason, people are intent in trying to dampen his light. Nah, not over here. Not over here. This ain't about them Cowboys. This is about a human being. And this is getting disgusting. And I'm going to take this a step further. Not only do I encourage everyone at their own choice, at their own will, to unfollow, block, do whatever you need to do to make sure that this platform understands. We do not accept this type of garbage in our community no longer. This is not what we want representing the flagship of the Dallas Cowboys or the biggest station where Jerry's coming and visit. This ain't it, man. And if I find out and it comes out that Jerry Jones and the Jones family had anything to do with this story coming out, especially since, from my understanding of the details that have come out, and we're going to keep very close track of this entire situation, because trust me, this type of situation is going to determine the future of this channel. Because I'm telling you right now, if it comes out that the Jones family had anything to do with trying to plant this story, since Dak Prescott and his team effectively received this letter allegedly in January of this year, 7 years after the incident, then all of a sudden, the report is made by the biggest reporters in the DFW, right in the peak of when it's time to negotiate this contract. If it comes out that the Joneses had anything to do with this, this channel's going to remain the Dak Attack. That don't mean it has to have a Cowboy star behind it. And that just means we're going to be covering Dak Prescott and the rest of his career. And then obviously we're going to end up moving to general NFL content until we find our next player that we want to follow closely. And we're going to continue to hold the media accountable. See, this channel's not going anywhere regardless of how this plays out. But let me find out the Cowboys are stooping this low to try anything by way of leverage and negotiating contracts, trying to sway public opinion, pressure, and anything like that. Let me find out, bro. This is interesting. Be sure to subscribe because we're going to keep a close eye on these proceedings, and we're going to have updates on this very frequently. This is probably going to get his own playlist because this is not something to be played with, regardless of how it turns out. And if it turns out the other way, I'm going to come up on my platform and say the things that I need to say to make sure that it's very clear where I stand, being the father of a 6-year-old daughter and being a husband. It's very clear where I stand. But I also stand on the side of reality. And all facts point towards Dak Prescott's way. He's the one that brought this to public light. He's the one that filed the suit. Because someone tried to extort him 7 years after a potential encounter. We don't even know if this encounter actually even happened, or the extent of the encounter. Right? This has been way too much. This has been way too much. And I appreciate y'all and I love y'all, man. Y'all be sure to subscribe. This is way too much.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.